we've had a lot of green over the last week for ADA, a lot of green over the last week for the crypto market in general. And right now we're kind of catching our breath, like I talked about, in preparation for this morning's CPI report. And I do want to talk about the expectations in regards to that. But we do need to just update on a few things that have been going around. We did do this test like we were discussing. There's a few updates surrounding the US and China. Going to talk about that. But I do also want to talk about the highest compression zone we have ever been in the crypto market. So again, if you guys haven't already shown your support for the channel down below, it's been growing like crazy, and it is all because of you guys. Now, this candle has been kind of up and down. I actually tried to start filming this video a couple times. It was green, it's flipped red. But right now, again, we're kind of prepping, we're watching, we're waiting to see what this morning's report is going to be. We could hit at 7 a.m. and US money could just start sending things like it did yesterday, which was a very exciting sign. But just temper your expectations, because a lot of people right now are in fact waiting for the CPI report. And I'll get to this in just a moment. Now, BTC has kind of stalled out over the last few days. Today, red candle day, yesterday, red candle day. Actually, that was a really high dragonfly doji day. So today could in fact turn green should we get some good news. I did want to show you guys too. Again, we're just continuing to follow the global liquidity chart. Nothing new here, and this shows that we're just kind of starting on this run. Very exciting sign. Doesn't always have to track perfectly with this, but just something to definitely be aware of. We're in pretty good shape right now, and I would say that, you know, the big thing right now, guys, that test that we had been talking about in the early part of the week, we got it on today's candle. We actually came down, we touched this 50-day moving average on the BTC dominance chart. Got a little bit of a rejection right now. The question is will we get our confirmation? Will we, get this push and breach back down, kind of like we did back here in the middle of May? Or will we get our rejection and get sent back up to the longer term trend? That's where we got to just watch and wait and see what happens. But I will say there are some good things that are happening in the crypto market. First of all, today we actually have our CPI report. Now, the CPI reports, they've definitely impacted the market. All right. Each and every one either creates some positivity or some negativity. And today's expectations are that we're going to see a 0.2% rise in terms of inflation, 0.3% rise in terms of core CPI. You guys can see what the numbers are here. It's very essential, once again, that we get a meet or beat. Now, last month we did have, I believe we had a beat. Month prior, we crushed it and the market didn't even know how to digest it. But this is where, again, you could get a little sign of relief for the market that inflation, isn't running out of control, that it's not really going back up, which would be awesome, because that means that we're taking important steps again towards interest rate decreases, towards quantitative easing. I know we talk about this a lot, but we're trying to get back to a place of normalcy. All right. Where they can make adjustments to monetary policy, where you can see further injections of liquidity. Now, that being said, we are seeing injections of liquidity around the world. For example, China taps 1.5 trillion fund to boost home market support. So Crypto Rover said this money will flow into crypto. Maybe, maybe not. But the fact that people are getting more money in general, that helps move markets. That's how liquidity works, right? And in the US, we're still waiting for some of these big changes. You can definitely feel spending slowing down to an extent. And so it's a question of, how far do they let things go before they do interest rate decreases? Now, what's interesting is that Reuters is actually projecting that we're going to have interest rate decreases in Q3 of this year, which is earlier than some of the expectations that many others are having. So definitely something to watch there. But what we're also seeing right now too is things progress in terms of US-China trade deal. In fact, they agree in principle on framework for new trade deal after 2 days of talks in London. So there are some very good things that may in fact put a little bit of wind in our sails as we potentially get some good news today. All right. Now, we are down to about 4.6% USDT dominance. We actually got as low as about 4.52% overnight. And why this is good is, again, this is showing us that we're back to a place where a lot of that money that's been sidelined needs to make a decision. All right. Are they going to still keep being just scared crapless and, not do anything? Or are they going to start re-entering the crypto market? This leg down is exactly what is going to cause this leg down for BTC dominance. That is where ADA and many other alts have a real opportunity to take some stabs forward. Not saying it's going to happen for sure, but that's really what we've been waiting for. Now, the good news here, guys, is their hands could be forced. and that is if BTC starts making some moves. Obviously, we did not set a higher high here compared to what we experienced in that third week of May, but that could change because what we're seeing, let me go back to the BTC chart here, what we're seeing is the highest compression range we have ever seen in terms of BTC. Let me just let it load. I should have this prepared to go. But what we're seeing is BTC price is getting squished by long and short leverage. You guys can see the huge concentration of long leverage down below here, huge concentration of short leverage right above here. So you can see BTC very quickly wick to a new all-time high. You could see it do some retracing and some dropping. We'll have to watch and wait and see what happens, but obviously this is something that is going to affect altcoins if the move is abrupt. Now, obviously over the last few days, the retracement for BTC has been kind of slow, and because of that, alts have been able to gain some confidence and some ground. What I did want to show here in terms of ADA is we've blown through a lot of shorts on the way up here. Still big concentration of shorts up in these ranges. You could theoretically be talking about wicks for ADA that run up to about 80 cents or so. Now, this week we talked about potentially getting to the mid 70 cent range, right? Mid 75, somewhere in there. Okay. Not saying that's going to happen for sure, but again, test playing out perfectly. ADA seeing a lot of green, adding whales adding like crazy. I mean, there's a lot of things that are just continuing to work in our favor here, and we'll see if we can just keep it rolling. So I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think the report is going to look like this morning? Is this something that now continues over the course of the back half of the week? But have a great day. Show your love below. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.